Welcome back, everyone. This week we are doing a plan with me from January 14th through the 20th, and this is a little bit different than what I did last week. The first thing I'm going to start out with is the washi tape from the Dollar Tree. They're just paper strips, stickers, and they're a little bit thicker than your normal washi tape. And then I'm just going to use this Cheesecake Factory gift card, score them / cut them, and I'm just going to drag that across the bottom, and it just is going to give me some color. I chose the inks that I'm going to use today based off of the colors that were in this sticker set. So this is a little different than before because we are using inks. So I'm also going to be using these stencils that I got from Amazon. They came in a pack of like 20, and so that's what I decided to use and kind of just frame it out. This is Worn Lipstick, is the Distress ink color. I'm going to take the Distress ink and just literally put it straight through the stencil that I have here. And I decided to do this again this week because I wanted to track certain things, and I've been tracking certain things during the week, but I had to go back and reread like on the right hand side where all of my writing was. I went ahead and hit that with the heat gun just to make sure it didn't smear while I was still working. I wanted to track 3 separate things this week, and that is what we're doing. I'm now going to use Vintage Photo for the second thing. The pink box is for my daughter's sleep, so what time she gets up, how long she naps, and then what time she goes to bed. And then the second category is going to be for my walking, so how many steps I took each day. And the third category is my points that I use on Weight Watchers. So that is what we're doing now. I'm just kind of framing it all out and seeing how I want it all to go. And then again, I went ahead and heat shot this. I don't know that it's necessary, but I just wanted to be careful because of the type of paper this is, the Tombow River paper. The next color I'm using is the Peacock Feathers. I'm literally just going straight into the stencil. Nothing fancy here. I am kind of angling it to make sure that I don't get it on any of the other stencils that are around it because the borders are very close. You see me grab that extra piece of paper. This is a Happy Planner stamp set, so it's just their basic stamp set. I wanted to go ahead and use this as an example to see if I might like the little box flag better than actually just inking through it. I found it quite easy to actually stamp this out onto the Weeks in the Tombow River paper, but I didn't end up liking it. Even though it looks okay, I really like the look of the way that the stencils looked and the solid blocks, and that it was going to be consistent. So the next thing I decided to do was go ahead and just go back to that using the Worn Lipstick with the stencil. I went ahead and added 2 pieces of copy paper so that way I didn't get ink everywhere, because I did notice that I was trying to stay within the lines. This made it a whole lot easier to just continuously go down the book, and I just continuously did that for the 7 days. And you can see this ended up being pretty quick. Of course, this is sped up for time, but it still ended up being pretty quick to do. Now I'm just going to get my other stencil out and get that lined up and use that hexagon again for the hexagon. And now I'm going to set this up with the Vintage Photo again and come back in with my masks and just continuously work my way down. As you can see, I am working right to left instead of left to right, and I just found that easier because of how I am masking it, and then I don't have to worry about it smearing really doing it this way, and that really helped me just line it all up and keep it pretty straight for the most part. I didn't really have a whole lot of problems lining it up and keeping it straight. It's not perfect, but I didn't really focus too much on that. My focus here was to make sure that I had the designated areas for each of the things that I knew that I wanted to track this week, and I didn't want your normal basic tracker. I wanted something that I could look at a quick glance and know exactly how many steps I took, how long my child slept, and how many points that I used during the week. Now that the hexagons are done, I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off just with a wet wipey. Pull out my other stencil and go back to the Peacock Feathers with the circle stencil. I'm just going to go ahead and continue through the rest of the remaining circles that I need. Again, this one is tracking my points that I used for Weight Watchers during the week and every day, so that way I just kind of have it in my head, okay, I used so many points this day, I can expect, you know, a loss or a gain at the end of the week, because I can look back and quickly just glance down and see, okay, I did really good this day, I didn't do very good that day, so on and so forth. Let me know what your preference is as far as trackers go and what methods you use and how you track different things. Now I'm going to go ahead and heat shot this now that I have all the inking done, and this is just again to make sure that it doesn't smear. I will be adding a few additional touches. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my wipey to remove the ink. Instead of writing my categories in at the top, I decided I would use a sticker for that. So I end up changing one out and I end up going back to the hydrate stick. I haven't really been doing very well with my water intake and wanted to make sure that I kept track of that this week. So now I'm just replacing the previous stickers that I had put down. I did find a walking sticker, so I'm going to use that as well for the middle section. For a sleep sticker, but couldn't find anything that would fit my spot. So I went ahead and looked through my stickers again just to see. These are stickers that are for laundry and for shopping. I do laundry every day, but I wanted to go ahead and put it on here at the beginning of the week. And then I film on Tuesdays, and then I go in and do my editing if I can. This one is kind of late, but that's the goal anyway. And then a reminder to journal, and then I have my shopping, and then I have my meeting on Sunday. My meeting is my weigh-in, so I wanted to make sure that I also put something as far as that goes in a little area. So that way I could put, plus or minus however many pounds I lost or gained. I'm using the Peacock Feathers color again, so that way they are consistent as far as what I categorize them as, so they're both the same color. Next up, I decided to use the washi tape as some decorations. I'm going to cut off some pieces that I liked and add those just as like stickers and use them kind of as stickers instead of just going through my stash. I thought it gave it a nice consistent feel, as you can see when it gets done. I've mentioned before I try not to over decorate my weeks because I want to leave enough room for any journaling or anything that I might have left. This skinny strip actually looked like it fit perfectly into the left hand side to cover up the dates, and I decided to go ahead and do that. I did not frame it out to make sure that it was perfect, which if I do that again I probably will cut it box by box, just because it ended up causing me a little bit of problems here in just a moment. I decided that I wanted each of these to have a shadow so that way they stuck out a little bit more. So I'm using a Micron 0.3 pen for this, and I'm just going to go in and trace it out with the Micron pen using the same stencil as before to give me that drop shadow. All I had to do was trace it and then scoot it over to the left and down just a little bit to get this framed out. So I know that this looks really busy probably to most people, and this is actually filling it up a lot more than I normally would. I'm just trying to find a way to track everything. To go with the vintage photo, I used the portrait palette and I used the Tombow 969 number for the marker to give this a drop shadow on here. With the stencil, I did the exact same thing. I went ahead and outlined it, and then I scooted it over to the left just a little bit and outlined it again, and that filled it in nicely. And then I move on to the next color. This is the tropical palette, and I went ahead and used the tealish color to match the peacock feathers. Like using the Tombows, I can match the colors pretty well. This one happens to be number 407. Let me know what you think of this kind of video. Do you like my voiceover on the entire thing, or would you rather just watch it play through and not me talk over the whole thing? Let me know what you prefer. Now we're going to go ahead and get done with these shadows on the circles and move on to the Happy Planner calendar stickers. I've mentioned these before. I like them because they're just numbers. They're big numbers and they're small numbers, and I went ahead and chose the big numbers to use to cover up on the left hand side with the washi. As you can see, I kind of messed this up a little bit because I wasn't paying attention to my days. I was just paying attention to the washi on the left, and since I didn't make it matte, it kind of messed it up a little bit. Even forgot a day for that matter. So I'll go back and I'll fix it here in just a minute. I was looking for a ZZZ sticker for sleeping and I couldn't find one, so I'm going to use this Tombow 817 and just write in some Z's and kind of put that at the top here so I know what it's for. I realized that my numbers were off after I added in my Z's, so I went ahead and fixed that using the same calendar stickers. And then I'm going to go ahead and take another Tombow 817. It's the color that I used for the pink. I'm just going to fill in some stickers and color those in and write some notes out about what we're doing. Took some of the remaining washi and cut it around it and added it again just as stickers and just for a little bit more decoration. And I don't know if you can see it really well, but it actually sparkles. This has glitter on it. Finally, I decided to cover up the stamped image with a stencil so that way they look more consistent. And that is the final product. So thank you all for stopping by. Again, my name is Wendy and I will see you all next week.